On behalf of the Boy Scouts of America, Southwest Florida Council, I would like to welcome you to the 9th Annual Manatee District Distinguished Citizen Good Scout Award Dinner. We have honored individuals in the past who have rendered selfless service to our community, and this year is no exception. Dear friend, as we honor an outstanding individual who has made many contributions to our community and beyond. Thank you, Byron. First is the opening and invocation. Please now enjoy our opening video, which will be followed by the posting of the colors and our invocation by our scouts.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Enter. Ace. Colors. Alt. Wreath and arms. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Arms. Oath. Colors. Alt. Enter. Ace.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us here together tonight to witness your work through Scouting, to honor Mr. Shinn for all he has done in this community. Thank you for the fellowship of this evening over this dinner, and for all the blessings you give us in this great country. In your name we pray. Amen.
Read, form, march. Forward, march.
The Boy Scouts participating this evening from our local Scout Troop 89 chartered by Christ Presbyterian Church. Let's give them a round of applause. I would like to again welcome you to the 9th Annual Distinguished Citizen Good Scout Award Dinner. Your attendance and support of this evening allows and helps Scouting to deliver character-building programs to our youth in our community, and we thank them for that. The Distinguished Citizen Award is presented annually in our community to honor the individual whose good works reflect the values at the very heart of Scouting and whose life serves as a role model to young people. At this time, I'd like to recognize the Honorable Judge Gilbert Smith, if you would stand. Thank you, Judge, for always supporting this organization. This evening, we also have a special guest who cannot be with us the entire evening, but would like to wish Byron congratulations at this time. It's your stage, Rocky. Thank you for coming. Let's give it a hand for Rocky. And all the support the USF recognizes through Rocky. Thank you. The Distinguished Citizen Dinner is made possible through the work of dedicated steering committee. I call your attention to our steering committee in your dinner program and would like to ask those individuals involved to please stand and be recognized. If you would please stand, steering committee. This evening would also not be possible without the generosity of many supporters within this room, our dinner sponsors. I call your attention to our special guardian and patron sponsors in your dinner program. Thanks to each business and individual for your support. At this time, I would like to give special acknowledgement to our full table Eagle level dinner sponsors that are here this evening. Those include Bell's Inc., Dan Love, if you would please stand. Blaylock Walters, Cliff Walters. The Braden Kiwanis Club, Brett Pollock and all Kiwanians in attendance. Bradenton Insurance Company, Robert Wenzel. Manatee Memorial Hospital, Kevin Delalo. NDC Construction Company, I'm already standing. Pittsburgh Pirates, Jeff Podubnik. SunTrust Bank, Andy Lee. The Silent Group, Charlie Shug. University of South Florida, Dr. Karen Holbrook and Miss Lee Williams. Tyrone Shinn. And Byron and Jody Shinn. And special thanks to the Manatee Performing Arts Center and the Braden and Kiwanis Club as facility sponsors for the evening, and ask any MPAC staff and Kiwanians to stand and be recognized. Thank you for their hospitality. And a very special thank you, as always, to Charles Clapsaddle and METV for their time and talents in the production of this evening's audio-visual presentations. Charles, could I ask you to come up here for 1 second, please? Tonight we have a very special recognition for the years of supporting this event. We would like to present you the Manatee District Live Oak Award, which is presented to Scouters who have rendered outstanding services to Scouting in the district. We appreciate your support. At this time, I have the pleasure of introducing you to one of our fine scouts here in Manatee County, and would ask Brandon Townsend to come forward. Podium is yours.
Hello, my name is Brandon Townsend, and I've been a part of the Scouting program for about 12 years now. I spent 3 years in Cub Scouts, 7 years in Boy Scouts, and nearly 2 years now as an assistant Scoutmaster. And I've been given the opportunity to let you know what Scouting has done for me in my life. The Scouting program is unique from other after-school activities and groups for a number of reasons. The first reason a new Scout is actually told about when they cross the bridge from Cub Scouts is that in Scouts BSA, the program is actually run by its participants, the Scouts. This is something that often surprises newcomers or even frightens them. Imagine being a 12-year-old with minimal leadership experience suddenly joining a program where the entire functionality of the troop is built upon the leadership of people who started off just like them. They can't imagine this troop being successful under that set of rules, but they see it working anyway. They start to realize that in time, they can be a leader too. That's how it was for me anyway. When I first joined Scouting, I thought of leadership as something for someone else. Whenever a time came that leadership was required, I didn't ask the question, should it be me? I asked the question, who will do it? Fortunately for me, the Scouting program excels at promoting personal growth. Thanks to the patrol method, I was able to take on leadership a little at a time, starting off as only the assistant in a very small group. Almost nothing, but the most I could manage at the time. Eventually, a time came when the patrol leader failed to show up, and I had to act as the leader. Possibly for the first time I had done so voluntarily. I did okay, but I definitely learned from the experience, and did better the next time, and the next. And eventually I felt prepared to take the position of patrol leader. This slow escalation continued until one day I found myself the acting senior patrol leader for a week of summer camp. It wasn't until then that I finally snapped out of it and came to a shocking realization. I'm a proficient leader. How did that happen? Well, now I know. For a long while, I thought that leadership was the only real-world skill I was getting out of the Scouting program. It's not like I need to know how to light a fire with matches or tie a bowline or even really use a map and compass in today's technologically advanced world. I failed to see the big picture, Scouting's true mission. You see, The purpose of scouting is not to teach outdoor skills. It's not to teach leadership. It's not even to have fun, although we have a lot of fun. The mission of the Boy Scouts of America, verbatim, is to prepare young people to make ethical and moral choices over their lifetimes by instilling in them the values of the Scout Oath and Law. The rest is just a trick. The outdoors is the classroom, and outdoor skills are our teachers, but the lesson is the Oath and Law. Since my first day in scouting, we began every meeting by reciting the Oath and Law, the same Oath and Law you've heard mentioned throughout tonight. The first requirement for the first rank in the Scout Handbook requires Scouts to repeat from memory the Oath and Law and explain their meaning. And every other rank requires them to explain how they have lived by the Oath and Law in their daily lives. There is no escape. Scouting teaches values, and I'm incredibly grateful for that. If it wasn't for scouting, I would not be who I am today, mentally, physically, emotionally, or spiritually. You see, when I was 13 years old, I suffered an accident. It was Thanksgiving Day, 2012, about 20 minutes before Thanksgiving dinner was going to be served. We were in Michigan, celebrating with our cousins, but we weren't just celebrating Thanksgiving. We were also celebrating my grandfather's wedding, which was going to be taking place just a few days later. We were kids, or we were playing cops and robbers outside on a very large backyard with lots of big trees. While escaping as the robber, I decided to climb one of these trees. I was pursued, so I climbed higher, and higher, and higher. When I finally stopped climbing, I was standing on a branch far above everyone else, about 50 feet off the ground. And that's when the branch broke. I hit the ground, but I didn't lose consciousness. At first glance, nothing looked wrong. Nothing felt wrong. Nothing felt at all. You see, upon impact, I broke 2 vertebrae in my neck clean through, fractured another in my lower back, bruised a lung, suffered a spinal bleed, and a minor concussion. The paramedics thought I was faking at first. It was a long and difficult road to recovery. I needed surgery, of course, to reinforce my neck and prevent further damage. And after that, I needed to heal. I needed a lot of time to heal. I stayed in bed all day, every day, just healing and wishing I could do something else. My parents were quick to inform the world of our situation through Facebook and phone calls, and quickly a massive prayer group formed to pray for my recovery. Therapy was no small thing, but it is the power of these prayers that I attribute the majority of the credit for my full physical recovery to. But that's not what scouting did for me. At the beginning of my hospital stay, all I knew was that I had broken my neck and currently couldn't move anything below my neck, and I wasn't allowed to move my neck itself. I didn't know when I would be able to move again, if I could ever write things down for myself, or go for a run, or even sit up in this hospital bed. I had no guarantees that things would ever get better at all. And that's when scouting made a difference for me. When I could do nothing else, I would pick out scouting values that I could exemplify even while in my hospital bed. I started with being cheerful, the 8th point of the Scout Law. I had faith that God's plan for me was far from finished, and I made sure my parents knew that. It isn't hard to be the most cheerful person in the room when everyone else is stuck feeling sorry for you. Next, I moved on to friendly, the 4th point of the Scout Law. My interaction with others is limited in terms of movement, but I had a couple dozen riddles memorized that I could tell the doctors and nurses as they made their routine visits. Watching them struggle to figure out my riddles might have been the most entertaining thing that happened to me during my hospital stay. I would have liked to be able to work on every point of the Oath and Law, but unfortunately, physically strong left the picture the moment I hit the ground. But a scout is thrifty, and we make do with what we have. So instead, I turned my focus to remaining mentally awake and morally straight. Scouting had a more tangible effect on my recovery as well. I wasn't entirely cut off from the outside world and would occasionally receive video calls from scouting events and meetings so that I could continue to be a part of them. I received hundreds of letters and could hardly get through them all. I received hats and t-shirts and all sorts of things from my troop and troops I had never met before. I wasn't the only one taking this opportunity to live the Scout Oath and Law. They wanted to make sure that I would end up, or my mistake. It was a while before I was able to return home. They wanted to make sure that I would be able to sit upright for the entire flight before putting me on a plane. I wanted to be home in time for Christmas, so they agreed to let me leave a little earlier than I think they would have preferred. The plane ride went well, and soon I was finally home, incapable of walking or riding, but home. Physical therapy became a part of daily life for me. I went to see a therapist twice a week to work on muscle growth and fine motor skills, and while home, I was always given the tasks that were most difficult for the muscles I was most lacking. When I was finally able to return to scouting, therapy went with me. Do you have any idea how hard it is to put up a tent when you don't have the strength to lift your arms above your head? I wasn't able to do everything at first, but just under a year after the accident, I earned the Personal Fitness Merit Badge, so I guess you could say scouting helped me improve. The scouting program truly does excel at promoting personal growth. It teaches outdoor skills and it teaches leadership. It's a lot of fun, but scouting does nothing better than teaching values, the values of the Scout Oath and Law. I was fortunate enough to get a clear view of just how present these values are in my own life, but all Scouts are exposed to them, in every meeting and every campout. Scouting strives to fulfill its mission statement. I'm grateful for the impact Scouting had on my own life, and I hope that for many more years to come, Scouts will continue to be impacted in the same way. Thank you.
Brandon is an Eagle Scout and is a freshman at the University of South Florida, Sarasota, Manatee. Brandon, we look forward to future endeavors that you have. Thank you. We're also honored tonight to have several past Distinguished Citizen Good Scout Award recipients with us. If you would please stand when I say your name. Jerry Neff, 2013. The Bradenton Kiwanis Club, 2015. Cliff Walters, 2016. And Robert Blaylock, 2017. Let's give them a big round of applause. Thank you. At this time, I would like to call Tyrone Shinn, a board member and VP of Finance for the SWFL Council, Boy Scouts of America.
Good evening. At this time, I direct your attention to our screen at special video honoring our evening's honoree.
Byron and friends, thank you for allowing these remarks and recollections on the life of a true community leader. Byron and I have been friends and colleagues for 36 years and have worked side by side on scores of business and community matters. But that doesn't really sound exactly right. I would say we've been virtual family for 36 years. So when I say to you tonight that Byron exemplifies the Scout Law, the teachings, inspirations, and legacies of the Boy Scouts of America, you can be assured that such assessment is grounded in the observance of a lifetime of actual living, achieving, sacrificing, and loving family, friends, church, and community. Byron has lived his life guided by a set of values inculcated by the early teachings of the Boy Scout program in his life. This is a credit to him and also to your great program. Byron has been prepared and has always done his duty. Let me close by making a very personal observation. Many of you know that Byron's sons, Garrett and Stuart, are very close to us and our family. We are proud to be Uncle Ed and Aunt Debbie. Byron and Jody are two of the most loving, considerate, thoughtful, and nurturing parents that one can find anywhere. Debbie and I take so much pride in the character and accomplishments of Garrett and Stuart Shinn, and we love them as we love Byron and Jody. If you want to know Byron Shinn and reflect on the reason that you honor him tonight, you need only understand his unwavering commitment to his boys and to his family. I'm so pleased to be part of that family and to honor you tonight, Byron, with a recognition that you so richly deserve. Congratulations, my friend.
I met Byron through Boy Scouts, or maybe Cub Scouts. My memory's a little hazy on that. It's surprising for me to realize I've known him almost 50 years. We were friends in Scouts, more so in the later years of our scouting as we worked together with this group of guys to get our Eagle Awards before we got distracted by other things like Byron and my shared love of water sports and fast cars. We stayed in touch even after we got out of Scouts, went separate ways in college. We went to each other's weddings, 2 for me, only 1 for Byron. He got it right the first time with Jody, which was typical. Together they've raised 2 great sons, Garrett and Stuart, who I've had the pleasure to work with and play with. They're both fine young men, and I know Byron and Jody are very proud of them. I think Byron's family values probably came from his parents, Jack and Gloria Shinn. Mr. Shinn, along with my father, Dr. William King, Dr. Thompson, some of the other fathers, led us through scouting by example. They were just there for us, got us to the meetings, got us to camp, and helped the troop succeed and helped us reach our goals. The Scout Law starts with trustworthy, loyal, and helpful. I think those are the big 3, and they probably come first because they might be the most important. They're also a great description of Byron Shinn. He's built his business on that, and I've been a client since before he started his own firm. I'm still a happy and satisfied client today. I've lived away from Bradenton for a long time, but I still hear about the many things Byron's involved in the community. It doesn't surprise me, because he always was that kind of man. I was asked by someone who will remain unnamed to tell some embarrassing story or when Byron got into mischief. It's not that I don't want to, I do, but I honestly can't. In all the time I've known him, Byron was always the good scout, and I'm sure he always will be. He totally deserves this award, and I'm very happy for him. Congratulations, Byron.
Hi everybody, I'm here to congratulate Byron on this well-deserved award. Byron, you've been my friend for 35 years. You've been my friend, you've been my business associate and partner. I am so grateful to you for all of the years, and I look forward to the next 35. I'll tell you, there are 4 words that best describe Byron: kindness, loyalty, integrity, and humility. Byron, you've led your life with grace. You've shown up for your friends, for your community on a daily basis. I'm so honored by our friendship. I look forward to the next 35 together. And I guess the best way for me to describe Byron is like this. Byron's a guy that walks along, steps in a pile of poop, looks up, smiles, where's the pony? Byron, I look forward to finding the ponies together for the next 35 years. And again, congratulations on this well-deserved honor.
Byron is my older brother by 15 months, and we were close growing up, with much of our daily activities on Warner's West Bayou and the surrounding Tampa Bay waters with our younger brother Damon. I have many good memories of fishing, skiing, and boating in general. We were both in scouting and both obtained our Eagle Scout, along with 5 others in Troop 1, who was sponsored by First United Methodist Church in downtown Bradenton. In thinking about the Scout Law and what qualities best describe Byron, to be honest, I cannot pick just one, as he exemplifies each of them at different times in his life. I feel Byron exemplifies the Scout Oath and Law with many community contributions throughout the years that are relatively unnoticed. He deserves to be recognized for his past and ongoing contributions to the community, along with the number of lives he has touched through the community and civic service. Motivation comes from within. I would say for Byron, the motivation is to make a difference in people's lives and better our community. A good example is when Byron learned funds from USF Accounting College were potentially used for another purpose within the overall college. Byron made it his personal mission to become a board member and make sure the accounting college remained strong and maintained its excellent national reputation. I recall at one time it was said, "Who is this Byron Shinn, and why doesn't he stay in Sarasota instead of interfering in Tampa?" Little did they know the outreach and network Byron had developed over the years, or the impact he has had with his leadership capabilities. Byron has always been a family man, even though he works tirelessly in his profession. While he works 7 days a week, he has always made time to support his son's activities and is really enjoying his 3 grandchildren. Byron does not hold back on what's on his mind or what he wants to say. I call it shoot, ready, aim. I can tell you many useful stories that might include a hook in an eyebrow, waterboarding, eating dirt, a broken hand, or chipped teeth. But this is supposed to be a positive recognition, so I will divert to a more comical event. Another time, Byron, through his learned leadership skills, convinced my mother, without Dad's input, to purchase him his brand new metallic gold Monte Carlo car from a local Chevrolet dealership. The car was in the driveway when Dad came home from work asking whose car. Once the initial explosive shock was over and the attempt to return the car to the dealership did not work out, as a binding contract is just that, he had his first new car. Of course, my parents believed in fairness, so that meant that each of us were going to get cars when we were the same age. Congratulations, Byron, and well deserved. Wow. As Byron wakes, at this time I'd ask Byron to make his way to the stage. In Scouting, we teach our youth the importance of teamwork in developing successful relationships. Our honoree this evening will no doubt say his success has been a team effort with his wife, Jody, who will be married for 40 years this June. From starting and building a successful business to spearheading many successful philanthropic efforts across our community over the years, Jody has been a supportive for all his endeavors. This evening, we would like to thank and recognize Jody with a dozen red roses. She's deserved each and every one of those. The Southwest Florida Council, Boy Scouts of America, is proud to honor Byron Shinn with the Southwest Florida Council Manatee County Distinguished Citizen Good Scout Award. Byron, over many years, has distinguished himself in the community by demonstrating unselfish service to others while exemplifying through his actions those important values held in such high regard by Scouting. Byron, before I present you this award, let me share with you the significance of the Good Scout Award statue. Your statuette is a small replica of the famous original called The Ideal Scout. It was scripted by Dr. R. Tate McKenzie. Dr. McKenzie was a surgeon, physical educator, artist, and sculptor from 1867 to 1938. He was a personal friend of Sir Baden-Powell, the founder of Scouting. When asked in 1914 to create something tangible that would stand as a symbol of what Scouting stood for, Dr. McKenzie sculpted his beloved statue, the Ideal Boy Scout. Excuse me. The sculptor is a longtime Scouter. He portrayed in his statue the grand traits of a character he knew in the movement that instills in the boys. To Dr. McKenzie, the uncovered head represented reverence and obedience. The axe on which the hand rests was a symbol of George Washington's truthfulness. Later, this statue was redone life-size, a copy which now stands in front of the National Boy Scouts of America office in Irving, Texas. At this time, I'd like to present Byron the 2019 Distinguished Citizens Award.
Wow. Thank you, Ron, and everybody that was on the tape, and for everybody being here. I want to first thank the Boy Scouts of America and the local council for this distinguished Good Scout Award. And I got a script, but it's gonna get personal. So, to set the record straight, most of you know that I'm not the greatest speaker. I would much rather support others and give others more deserving the recognition. I'd rather be in the back of the room supporting the next year's recipient, but I really appreciate my brothers for being here. And Tyrone, thank you very much. I was once told it's not what you say, it's what you do. I'm going to ask a couple people to come up tonight that I didn't know if they were going to be here tonight, because when they asked me if they could recognize me, they wouldn't let me touch the invitation list. So I got surprises tonight. So I'm going to ask a couple people that are very special through my scouting to come up and have a couple of pictures, but I want to tell you why they're important. So my brother Tyrone and Damon, I want Damon to stand up, and Tyrone. So both of them, thank you. They both put up with Big Brother. And yes, I have chipped front teeth. Yes, I have a broken left hand, and yes, I'm left-handed. And that was brotherly love, otherwise known as a fight. And yes, I got in trouble, and so did Tyrone. But we had a lot of good years together. And one of the things my dad really was involved with was scouting and our education. So it's no accident. So I'm going to leave script for a minute. Both my parents and Jody's parents were not able to finish college because of World War II. And they enlisted in the military because of Pearl Harbor. And when both of our parents focused everything they had on our education and our skills of character. And so that's why you see our direct involvement in student scholarships at Kiwanis that my dad was involved with, and then now with USF, both in Tampa, and we have the Dean of the College of Business here. So I didn't know they were going to talk about why I got on the Board of Trustees, because you're not supposed to get on the board because of a single mission. But yeah, accounting was a train wreck in Tampa. So we fixed it. And we have the Dean here to prove it, that he's on track, and we just hired a new leader for the School of Accounting, so thank you very much. So my brothers and I were raised by disciplined, principled parents who came from humble backgrounds that taught us that your word was everything. They instilled in us to treat all humans with grace, dignity, and respect. They focused their entire lives in developing the three of us. God knows they had goals set for us before we could even remember. And the Deans are back there, the two sisters. They grew up down the street. Man, I thought this was going to be a roast. I was really worried. Y'all went really easy on us. But they were really strong with our faith with God. They wanted us to be Eagle Scouts, to be toughened up for the tough days ahead in life. And one of the examples, y'all know where the Upper Manatee River Road is. Now there's a bridge there. Well, back when I was 10 and 12, it was out in the sticks. When we were going to Camp Flying Eagle, most people would drive in and do the parking lot, and then you walk back into the campsite. No. We'd be driving back there, and my dad would stop the car 3-5 miles out, stop the car and say, "You're out. Take your backpacks, you're out of here." So we were walking in. So that was part of getting tough. Everybody else drove by us and waved. And Jeff Thompson and Tom King can vouch for that too. They also wanted to make sure, come hell or high water, we were graduating from college. Of course, I had to be a doctor and an attorney, and then I went and saw Dr. Barnes, Mac Barnes, in surgery at Manatee Memorial, where I was born. And I stood between the anesthesiologist and Mac as he did a 3-hour surgery. And after that 3 hours, I said, it's not for me. Several doctors have told me, Byron, neurosurgery is a little on the high-end side. Maybe you should have tried something else. But I was a chemistry major that quickly went into accounting. So to find our passion and focus on our careers and do the best of our abilities. So he did say I was okay being an accountant. Finally. To support your family and give 110% to the success of your family, to help those less fortunate, and to always follow the golden rule. Yes, we lived on Warner's Bayou, and we were water skiers and fishermen, but we were big time in the Boy Scouts. At the time, it seemed like a great opportunity to learn and grow with other young men. Little did we know that the men and ladies that would affect our lives. There's a lady here tonight. There's several, but there's one here that really gets me choked up. And she was my Cub Scout den leader. I'm going to ask several people to come up here. We got to get a quick picture, and then I'll finish. But it's Daryl Thompson. And Daryl, you and Jeff start coming on up, please. Daryl was our Cub Scout leader for a small group of us that stuck together and made it all the way to Eagle Scout. And to have 7 people, most of which started with her and her husband, the late Dr. Bill Thompson, and Jeff was one of the Eagle Scouts with me. Dr. Thompson, the older of the 2 doctors, taught us so much about being a man and how to treat people and with the grace and dignity. There were 7 of us that made Eagle Scout, all at the same time that you saw the picture of. One of them was my brother, Tyrone. Another one was Tom King, who's here tonight. Come on up, Tom. I got to get off easy. Tom was a big time, I call him blowboater, sailboater, and that's from his father, but he's a big time world-class water skier, but he was recently recognized this past year for a Lifetime Achievement Award by his industry in the boating and water skiing and wakeboarding area. If you kind of see a common thread here with Stuart, my youngest son, and the wakeboarding thing. And photography, Tom taught him how to wakeboard at 4 years old, behind his house in Orlando. Then there's Dr. Jeff Thompson. He's our local orthodontist here. Sam Caruso, who's not here tonight, he's a local business owner and outdoorsman. His father, Paul Caruso, passed away. He had a paint stain company here that was sold to Sherwin-Williams. And Sam is one of the neatest outdoor guys you'll ever want to meet, and his dad taught us all about, you don't need matches, you don't need a tent, you can tough it. And he taught us about Indian lore and about Indian history. John Knowles, who's not here tonight, he's a president of a large life insurance company. He was president of our student body at our senior year at Manatee High, and David Cooley. So Tyrone, come on up. We want to take a quick picture. It's amazing she hasn't changed a bit. And handle all of us, stay calm through it all. Woo. Amazing. Some of the leaders we had, Charles Martin was our scoutmaster, Bill King, and Dr. King, you got to come up. Come on up, Bill. Dr. King. This is Tom's father. He's so quiet, but don't let the quiet water fool you. It's very deep. The little pin he has on his lapel is 1952 Camp Flying Eagle, so he's the real deal. There was Jeff's father, Dr. Bill Thompson, my father, Jack Shinn, and there was a guy named Charles Levan. Charles was really tough. If I thought my dad was tough, Charles Levan was tougher. He took me for about 3 weeks. Every day we hiked at least 25 miles. And there was quizzes, tests, and the whole bit. So he was trying to keep you mentally strong and very focused. The weather was bad, it didn't matter. We were hiking, we were going. And you carried everything you wanted to eat and drink, and that was it. And it was, so things got easier. So anyway, these were real men that developed us weekly. They always showed up. They could have been doing so many other things, but they showed up every Monday night. And to think about that commitment, it's real. They've really worked on our character building, something that doesn't exist today very often is honoring your word. They guide us in the importance of mental strength with positive attitude. I don't know where the positive attitude is gone, the sarcasm in today's life, and faith. All the while developing discipline and focus. And they tried to make us organized. On this, for those of you that know me, I failed this miserably. If you've seen my office, Jamie gave up on me a long time ago, and so did Jody. Doesn't help. I can't check all the boxes, sorry. We did a lot of camping, hiking, and personal development with those great men, including Philmont Scout Ranch in New Mexico. As the photos you've seen tonight, we had great times living up as a scout. After scouting, I was into competitive water skiing in college. There I met my wonderful wife of 40 years, Jody, while at USF. We both graduated from the Tampa campus. I was on the collegiate water ski team, and with the help of my brothers who trained with me and drove the boat Too Many Hours to Remember with Tom King and Warner's Bayou. So we burned up way too much gas, so my carbon footprint is really ugly. Sorry. I could have a Tesla the rest of my life and I wouldn't make up ground. After graduation, I was recruited by Arthur Anderson, where I began my CPA career. I've been lucky enough to work with some real true leaders. I'd like to name just a couple of them and give you a little bit of background. These people stood out in my life. Not that there aren't a lot others, but these really stood out. And I'm going to start out with when I was at Anderson in Houston, there were 35 CPAs that started every week. It was a regional office, about 1,600 CPAs. And the first woman to break the ownership bubble at Arthur Anderson was there. I got to meet her, I worked outside her office, and I got to see what it took for her to break the ceiling. An amazing woman. And I have some women partners in my office that are made of the exact same stuff. There was a tax partner in Orlando. Try not to get too choked up. His name was Jerry Trumbauer. He was an American B-17 pilot. He was shot down over Germany. He was a POW. And usually we're in tie and coat and long sleeves, but there was a Saturday I was in his office and I saw his arm when I was looking over his shoulder and he was training me on some tax moves that we were trying to do. And I could see the numbers that were in his arm. I learned from him his humility, his professionalism was second to none, and he never got rattled. I wonder where he got that from. Sorry, it gets real quick. There's a tax partner in Orlando at the same firm named Arnold Howe. By the way, these guys merged into Coopers and Lybrand right as I was moving to Bradenton. His name was Arnold Howe, and he taught me how to build a team. He was so much fun to be around, but he showed how to care about the team, both your inside team and your outside team, and to be real about it. You can't fake it. There was a managing partner there. It's amazing, all in one place. A managing partner named Pat Knight. He told me about the lonesome zone of being a leader when you have to make the tough call. To not make decisions with haste or anger. Be deliberate with your moves and think through the decision. Now I got to take a breath for this one. Bob Bartz. Bob always instilled us family and networking and being together in our journey. Thank you, Jason. We miss him. Steve Osher. Steve's from Tampa. Every time I look over, I think we're having a Board of Accountancy meeting. He taught me not to shoot and aim. You know, I had it backwards. So when we were doing probable cause, we were listening. He's a forensic accountant, and he's used to deposing people like crazy. He's shaking his head, but he's a wizard. But I learned so much from him, so I ended up, he got 2 years on the probable cause. I got 15 years, so what did you do to me? But anyway, we had fun together, but Steve is one of those guys that's helped navigate me along through the Board of Accountancy, and he and Teresa are the perfect tailgate team. So we have a wonderful time, and he tries to make me lighten up, so thank you, Steve. And tell Teresa we miss her. And for those of you who have not met Teresa, you're missing something special. Then there's Ron Allen, Ed Vogler, and Bob Wenzel. These three and their wives have been amazing to Jody and I. Beyond taking care of helping start our business in 1993, they've been invaluable to our family, to our business, and just our own sanity through it all. So thank you very much. Bill Robinson, who I talked to tonight, who we all pray will be back soon, has been a true friend with business, fatherhood, and cars. And he kept teasing me. He goes, Byron, you like nice cars, you ought to have a Ferrari. So out we go to California, and we spend a nice weekend out there, and lo and behold, what do? I go and buy a Ferrari. Had to do it, check the box, bucket list, but man, Byron and Ferraris in Bradenton, just not a good combination. But it was an awesome car. And we did take it around the track, Tom. And Tom was there, and it was great. We had a blast. So, by the way, Bill is getting out of the hospital tomorrow. He said I could say this. And he's going to be in an isolation for 80 more days. They're doing a bone marrow test next week, and it'll take 7 days to get the results back. But his spirits are great, and I'm thrilled. It was a great moment to talk to him tonight. And he called me to say thank you, but God bless to Bill. Another outstanding family man. John Esforms, who you saw up there. John's up there fighting right now in D.C. He was hunting down Vern Buchanan. He wanted his cell phone. As being a tomato farmer, and you probably heard on the news yesterday about tomato prices, John's all wound up. So he was going to be here, but now he's in D.C. fighting for his family issues. But John is a family man. By the way, he's about to have twins. And his family stood by me and my family during the start of our company, and now CRI. John tells you straight what you need to hear. And his father, Joe Esforms, taught me to be a better listener. Amazing man, how he can turn everything else off and make you feel like you're the most important person at the moment, and he's truly listening, which is a fine art that I've learned from him. Incredible businessmen, too. And then there are my partners, and if they would stand, and the rest of my team, I've got a table here, so they surprised me. So there's Garrett, my son, Tim Gruters, Christy Cardillo, Chris Shekel, Dave Lonnie, and Millard Martin, and Lori Kidder. who make it fun to come to work. There's so many more that I should mention, but time does not permit. And then I can't stop now. I got to talk about the best part. And then there's my soulmate and partner for life, Jody. She's the rock and driving force and has helped me, period. She helped me get my first job at Anderson in Houston. She flew out with me to prop me up to make sure I could make the grade. All the while, she had an opportunity to go to 2 different law schools, and she gave it up so she could marry me and go to Houston. She had a job at IBM. We both transferred to Orlando, and then she gave up her job with IBM to come back here to Bradenton when I went to work with Bob Christopher. And she's now a very happy mother, grandmother, and she's a real estate agent with Michael Saunders, and I'm so proud of her. Married way over my head. We're so blessed to have 2 wonderful sons. Another tough part. And I'm so proud of both of them. They're both incredible fathers, and they have some incredible grandchildren, and they're so wonderful to babysit. They tell us how they could be terrors, but I've never seen it. So they're Mackenzie, our granddaughter. We did finally have a girl, yay. Everett and William, the newest. So they're almost 5, 2, and 1. With 2 outstanding wives named Janelle, who's a graduate of USF and a nurse, and Caitlin, who is in education, and she teaches special needs children and speech pathology, and I love it. It's so cool. She got some really cool parents too. And you're supposed to stand so people can see you. Come on. So it is kind of cool to stand here and look out and see some really neat faces, and also to remember the great times I've had with my sons and my daughter-in-laws and my friends. But there's really no better joy in life for Jody and I than our children and our grandkids. And in closing, there's so many people more deserving of this honor. Thank you again for this honor, and I'm proud to be a Scout. And in closing, I'd like to read a leadership quote from Winston Churchill. I thought it was pretty apropos. We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. So let's go make a difference. Good night. God bless you and your families. Thank you.
And to finish our evening, I get the opportunity where now all the tough stuff comes out, Byron. No, I'm just kidding you. Byron and I go way back, as he described, and as much as the community loves you, the Allen family, we love you all, the Shinn family. So congratulations again on that great award. Once again, on behalf of the youth that are served by the Boy Scouts of America in our region, we thank you for your support. It paves the way for thousands of today's youth to become tomorrow's leaders. We will now conclude the evening with a closing video.
Driving down the street today, I saw a sign for lemonade. They were the cutest kids I'd ever seen in this front yard. As they handed me my glass, smiling, thinking to myself, man, what a picture perfect postcard this would make of America. It's a high school prom, it's a Springsteen song, it's a ride in a Chevrolet. It's a man on the moon and fireflies in June and kids selling lemonade. It's cities and farms, it's open arms, one nation under God. It's America. Later on when I got home, I flipped the TV on. I saw a little town that some big twister tore apart. And people came from miles around just to help their neighbors out. And I was thinking to myself, I'm so glad that I live in America. It's a high school prom, it's a Springsteen song, it's a ride in a Chevrolet. It's a man on the moon and fireflies in June and kids selling lemonade. It's cities and farms, it's open arms, one nation under God. It's America. Now we don't always get it all right. There's no place else I'd rather build my life. 'Cause it's a kid with a chance, it's a rock and roll band, it's a farmer cutting hay. It's a big flag flying in the summer wind over a fallen hero's grave. It's a high school prom, it's a Springsteen song, it's a welcome home parade. Yeah. It's a man on the moon and fireflies in June and kids selling lemonade. It's cities and farms, it's open arms, one nation under God. It's America. It's America. Oh, yeah. Woo.